Welcome to Module 3 of the Select and Use Power Tools and Clean Up site. Selecting the power tools for the task. Some tasks require a bit more power and speed than can be achieved with hand tools. In this instance, you will need to select the power tools and related equipment most appropriate to the task. So on the screen and in your book is some commonly used power tools that are used on a work site. So we talk about Kanga hammers, we talk about drills. We talk about screwdrivers, battery operated and electric ones, and we talk about cut-off saws, which are used for cutting steel, concrete, rock, ductile cast pipes and asphalt. There's also angle grinders, we've got about pneumatic wrenches, we have impact hammers, and we have things called scalers. We also have things called circular saws, which are mainly used to use timber. We have planers, which are electric or battery operated. We have sanders, which are battery or electric operated, and we have rotary hammers or drills used for drilling and chiseling masonry and or concrete. We also have a thing called a tamper, which is used to tamp the surface for small areas for compaction. Commonly used power tools, with the power tools we use leads. So on the left, on the one we've got a power lead, we have a safety switch, and we have an air hose to use with air type equipment. Okay, power tools can be powered by 240 volt electricity. They can be powered by compressed air. They can be powered by battery, and they can be hydraulically driven. Power tool selection. It is essential that you select the most appropriate and relevant tool for the task and use it safely. You should read the owner's manual and the operator's manual for each tool or piece of equipment to understand the characteristics, limitations and technical capabilities of the tools you are using. This includes looking at what the tool can do and what it is designed for, and if it will do the task required of it. Check power tools before use. Once you have selected the power tools and related equipment that are best suited to the current task, it is essential that you check them for serviceability and safety. Any checks made on the tools and equipment must be made in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications and worksite policies and procedures. Check for obvious signs of damage or wear, for example, missing saw blade teeth, defective or equipment guards or switches, triggers and or controls, electrical safety inspection tag for currency. If you use your own tools, you will need to check them over regularly and replace any defective equipment before starting work. Checking power leads and hoses. It is essential that all power leads, hoses and safety switches are checked for serviceability and safety in accordance with the site's safety plan. Checks of electrical equipment should be done visually and should include checking that the equipment casing is not damaged. Flexible power cords are appropriately fixed to the equipment. Power cords are not damaged. Controls are in good working order. Safety guards are present and appropriately fixed to the equipment. Electrical power cords are not in contact with liquids, materials and in an environment that would constitute a hazard according to the manufacturer's specifications. Checking power leads and hoses. Any faults, damage or other safety concerns identified will need to be recorded and reported in accordance with your worksite requirements. Where necessary, equipment should be tagged out or locked out to ensure other people do not use it until it has been repaired and or replaced. Clear routes for leads and hoses. Trips, slips and falls are most common hazards on worksite accidents. A worksite that is clear from materials, tools and unintended equipment is less likely to cause injury or accident. A proactive approach to safety requires workers to anticipate risks and act to minimise them. Lead hose placement. Leads and hoses that are poorly placed or inadequately signposted or covered pose a hazard to others. They can cause someone to trip or may result in a power tool being pulled out of the operator's hands. This can cause damage to materials and raises the risks of accident or injury. To ensure the safe placement of leads and hoses, they must be covered and provided with appropriate signs warning of potential tripping hazard if placed on the ground. They should be placed clear of obstructions such as other equipment and identified hazards. They should not be under the feet of workers. They should not be placed across a walkway. They should be raised above head height so they don't constitute a tripping hazard. They should be marked and mapped so that everyone on the worksite is aware of their placement. Ensuring safe placement will reduce the chance of power leads being damaged and reduce the risk of electrical shock or other injury to personnel or workers on the site. Connecting to the electricity supply. Always take care when connecting and disconnecting a tool from the power supply. When a power tool is connected to the electricity supply, the tool is said to be live. This means that electricity is running through the power tool. Caution is required because the tool can be activated accidentally. There is a risk of electric shock from the tool and or the power supply. When connecting electrical appliances, always make sure that the tool is turned off when connecting the tool's power lead to the power supply. Never make contact with the metal pins on the power lead. Only use power boards with built-in RCDs, which are called residual current devices. Never use double adapters on a power board. Never connect two power boards to increase the number of power points. Connecting air hoses to power tools. The compressed air that powers your tool is prevented from flowing out of the compressor tank by the discharge coupler. The coupler is screwed onto the end of the compressor's discharge pipe. The coupler is checked. The pressurized air in the air compressor will not be released until an appropriate connector is inserted into the coupler. In most industrial settings, a connector will be attached to the supply port of the delivery tool. To power tools. To connect your power tool to the air compressor. 1. Insert the connector into the coupler. 2. Slide the knurled ring on the coupler back so that the coupler can clip into place. 3. Release the ring so that the connector is locked into place. Make sure that the connector is secured properly. If it is not, it will blow out of the air compressor as soon as the air is released. Fixing materials in a position. Often prior to using power tools, you will need to clamp or fix materials into place. Clamps are used when working on materials that are not fixed in place. Clamps provide benefits such as preventing the movement of materials, enabling safe operation of power tools, minimising the risks associated or injury due to materials and or power tools slipping or becoming stuck. When selecting a clamp to secure materials, you will need to consider: is the clamp strong enough for the job? Will the clamp damage the materials? Ensure that you are familiar with the requirements of the current task so that you can determine whether the material you are using must be fixed into position. Commonly used power tools. Once you have checked your power tools and equipment, placed and connected your leads and hoses and fixed the materials in a position, you are ready to use the power tools to complete the task. Power tools need to be treated with respect at all times. A live tool has the potential to cause serious injury. All equipment must be used in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and all site safety requirements. Safe operation depends on your knowledge of the power tool. You need to know its capabilities and limitations so you don't expect the tool to do more than it was designed for. Forcing a tool to work outside the manufacturer's specifications will damage the tool, produce unsatisfactory work quality, increase the risk of accident or injury to the operator and others in the work site. If you're unsure about how to use the tool safely or effectively, check the manufacturer's instructions. You need to take personal responsibility for the safe operation of power tools. This involves knowing and following the safe operating procedures. Safe operating procedures involve wearing the appropriate personal protective equipment. Examples can be safety glasses, gloves and hearing protection. Not wearing loose clothing or jewellery that may get caught in the machine or materials. Making sure that all guards and safety devices are properly installed and operational before use. Safe operating procedures. Knowing emergency procedures on a work site. Example, who should be contacted if an accident occurs. Only using power tools for the manufacturer's intended purpose. And recognising dangerous environmental changes in the environment that would make it dangerous to continue using that tool. The site safety plan will outline safety and emergency procedures. This safety plan may also provide information on sirens and alarms, warning of an emergency situation. A buddy system, pairing 2 members of the staff together so there is always someone available to report any accident or injury. Location of first aid equipment and staff with first aid training. Working with compressed air. Powering tools with compressed air offers a significant advantage over electricity, as the tool does not get hot, therefore reducing the risk of fire and burns. However, working with compressed air is not without risk. For example, air hoses can whip dangerously if they are not connected properly. The pressurised air is also dangerous if it is directed at skin or clothing. To operate the air compressor safely, do not install a shut-off valve between the compressor and the compressor oil sump. Do not disconnect or bypass the safety circuit system. Do not install safety devices other than authorised replacement devices. Close all openings and replace all covers and guards before operating the compressor unit. Tools, rags or loose parts must not be left on the compressor or dry parts. You do not use any flammable solvents for cleaning parts. Keep combustibles out of and away from the compressor. Never use compressed air to blow dust from work clothes. When using the air compressor to clear dust from power tools, always use the lowest setting needed to do the job safely. Ensure you are familiar with the procedures to work safely with and around compressed air. If you are not confident, speak with your supervisor or other experienced personnel or workers. Recognising problems. You need to be able to recognise an unsafe power tools. So you use your senses to identify the early signs of a problem. Indications of an unsafe tool may include: 1, it could be sound. Is there an unusual noise? This may indicate that something is loose or incorrectly calibrated. Smell. A burning smell may indicate an electrical or mechanical problem. Vibration. Excessive vibration may indicate a motor under stress or loose parts. If you have any doubts at all about the safety of your power tool, you should contact your site supervisor immediately. Take the tool with you to avoid someone else using it while you are reporting the defective equipment. Adapting to changing work conditions. It is important to understand that your work conditions may change during operation of the equipment. This may be due to other activities being conducted, personnel, workers and equipment involved on the site. Variations required to achieve the desired results and specifications, or environmental changes such as weather and or lighting. You must remain aware of these changes and show initiative in adapting to the changed conditions if they occur. This may include stopping operations and speaking with your supervisor, or changing your operating techniques. Always ensure you are working within specified tolerances and within your policies and plans. Working in teams. Operation of power tools will often require you to work alongside and with other personnel workers. Working effectively in teams requires you to possess a number of skills, abilities and attributes, and these include tolerance, reliability, active listening, problem solving, commitment, clear and constructive communication, initiative and ability, cooperation, and being an active participant, to name but a few. Working teams. It is essential that you can work effectively and communicate with those around you to ensure safe and effective work practices. Storing of power tools when not in use. When you are not using a power tool, it should be placed out of the way in a designated safe place where it cannot accidentally be switched on, knocked over or trip someone. This will not only ensure that the tool will not cause a hazard for you or anybody else, but will allow you and others to be able to locate the tool when required. Portable tools are best placed back in their case. And clear the work area. It is important to maintain a clear work area. The worksite and work area need to be kept clear of obstructions and hazards. It is good working practice to clean up as you go. Materials should be cleaned up according to the Environment Management Plan and the Safety Management Plan. Clean and clear the work area. Allow time to clear the work area at the end of the job. Make sure all rubbish is collected and disposed of correctly. Dispose of any debris properly without impacting negatively on the equipment. Divide up recycling and other waste materials for correct removal and processing in accordance with the environmental management plan for the work site. Main tools and equipment after use. Once you've finished operation, you will need to maintain the tools and equipment that were used. The maintenance tasks that you conduct may vary depending on the type of power tool and or equipment used. Maintenance tasks must be conducted in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications and standard work practices. If you are unsure about any maintenance task, ensure you speak with your supervisor. Common maintenance tasks that you may be required to conduct would include cleaning tools and equipment, inspecting tools and equipment and recording and reporting faults, conducting authorised servicing within your level of training, conducting authorised minor replacements within your level of training, and storing tools and equipment. Cleaning tools and equipment. After use, you clean the power tool and equipment so that no foreign materials are attached and the equipment is free from oil, grease and other materials that may interfere with its effective operation. Keeping the tools and equipment as clean as practical for a work site will assist you to find leaks, damage or faults, and can also help prevent damage or faults. You will need to perform an inspection of the tools after use. This is to ensure that any damage that has occurred will be identified as early as possible. Checking tools after use may include looking for loose handles, bolts and screws, worn or damaged power leads and attachments, cracks in the tool's external casing, blunt or damaged blades and contact surfaces. If damage or faults are found, you will need to record and report them in accordance with your worksite procedures. General maintenance for hand and power tools. The following are some procedures that you may need to complete at your worksite to complete general maintenance on hand tools, power tools and air compressors. Okay, when maintaining hand tools, it may be necessary to sharpen cutting tools or drilling bits. Handles may need to be oiled and or sanded down. Screws and bolts may need to be tightened and replaced. Power tool maintenance. Power tools need to be serviced by authorised personnel or workers. A record of the last service will be attached on the tag attached to the power tool. Be aware of the due date for the next service and take appropriate steps to ensure that this is done on time and according to procedures. Air compressor maintenance. When using air compressor, regularly check for leaks in all piping, joints, drains, valves, flexible hoses, fittings, fillers and lubricating units. Bleed or release the air from the air compressor after use and ensure that any damaged or malfunctioning equipment is put in for repair immediately. Regular servicing. Regular servicing is an important part of tool maintenance. This applies to hand tools, power tools and compressors. You need to know the process for organising regular maintenance. You also need to know how to order replacement parts and accessories such as blades, sandpaper, etc. Always refer to the manufacturer's instructions for specific advice on how to maintain tools and equipment. Storing tools and equipment. Ensure that all equipment and materials are stored properly and safely in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications and site requirements. For example, small hand tools may be located on a pegboard or in tool kits. Larger tools may be off the ground hanging from tool racks. Power tools may be located on shelves or benches away from traffic areas. Stack materials neatly so they don't fall out on the next person who tries to get them. Tools should never be stacked in front of a doorway or electrical power point. Stacked tools should never obstruct emergency equipment and or emergency exits. Make sure that you know the appropriate storage location of power tools and equipment. Always return tools and equipment to their designated location when not in use. Maintaining a reliable system for storing hand and power tools means that there is less uncontrolled movement of staff and equipment across the worksite, provides reliable access to tools and equipment, and it provides effective tracking and the use and location of the tools and equipment. This will help protect staff from accidents, prolong the life and effectiveness of the tools. That concludes this module 3. We're going to move to the third assessment practice paper and complete that. If you need any further information, refer back to the third learner book.